With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 1 of 4.
Etc.
Peace for Ukraine or Ukraine now. Russia, just go home.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
But being good is the same as being a philosopher. If you obey your father, you will follow the will of a man. If you chose the philosopher's life, the will of God. Please continue watching for the practical wisdom of Stoic philosopher Gaius Musonius Rufus, vegetarian.
Every day, our species participates in the mass genocide of other species without care or concern or even questioning whether the violence that we ingest and condone plays any role in our apathetic support of the war machine we have become. Saul Williams, vegan.
When visiting the golden sand beaches of Corfu, say Kalimera, which means good day in Greek, the official language of Corfu. I am Elias. The vibrant Corfiotes adore your passionate effort in promoting a vegan lifestyle. May the radiant blessings of divine love illuminate your noble path and infuse you with unwavering strength. Welcome to Obedience and Simple Living from the teachings of Musonius Rufus, vegetarian, part 2 of 2 on Words of Wisdom.
Making peace? Wow. The whole world will be thanking God and kowtow to you.
Gaius Musonius Rufus, vegetarian, was one of the great Stoic philosophers of the Roman Empire. He lived in the 1st century CE and was born in Volsini, an ancient city of Etruria that is now part of present-day Italy. His philosophy focused on the study and practice of virtue. He believed that everyone is capable of being virtuous. However, people who had not learned the skills of ethical living could not be expected to live without error. Thus, he lived and promoted a simple and frugal lifestyle, which included the learning of self-control, modesty, courage, and benevolence. He was a vegetarian and taught that being mindful of one's diet was a vital virtue. His students included Roman noblemen, senators, and future philosophers. In the years following, his wisdom continued to have an impact on later Stoic philosophy as well as early Christian moral thought. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, was his most notable student, whose principles were deeply influenced by his mentor. Although the works of Gaius Musonius Rufus are mentioned in the writings of Epictetus, most have been lost through time. However, his philosophical teachings in the form of aphoristic sayings and discourses were preserved by his students. This was later translated and included in Cora E. Lutz's book, Musonius Rufus, the Roman Socrates.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Poland is one of them. Poland, Animal Protection Act of 1997, amended 2018. The Animal Protection Act preamble states, "The animal as a living being capable of suffering is not a thing. Man should respect, protect, and care about it." Among other protections, killing or abusing an animal person means a 3 to 5 year jail term with a fine of up to €25,000. Those abusing an animal companion may be banned from caring for animal people. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses. No more hurting. No more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan. Make peace. So be it.
Today, let us continue learning of philosopher Rufus's practical elucidation of the nature of disobedience and on the virtue of simple living. Must one obey one's parents under all circumstances? A certain young man who wished to study philosophy, but was forbidden by his father to do so, put this question to him. "Tell me, Musonius, must one obey one's parents in all things? Or are there some circumstances under which one need not heed them?" Musonius replied to the young man, "Now, if your father, knowing nothing about the subject, should forbid you, who had learned and comprehended what philosophy is, to study philosophy, would you be bound to heed him? Or would you not rather be obligated to teach him better, since he is giving bad advice?" That seems to me to be the answer. Perhaps, by using reason alone, one might persuade his father to adopt the attitude he ought in regard to philosophy, if the father's disposition is not too obstinate. If, however, he should not be persuaded by argument and would not yield, yet even then the conduct of his son will win him over if his son is truly putting his philosophy into practice. For, as a student of philosophy, he will certainly be most eager to treat his father with the greatest possible consideration, and will be most well-behaved and gentle. In his relations with his father, he will never be contentious or self-willed, nor hasty or prone to anger. Furthermore, he will control his tongue and his appetite, whether for food or for lust. And he will stand fast in the face of danger and hardships. And finally, with competence in recognizing the true good, he will not let the apparent good pass without examination. As a result, he will willingly give up all pleasures for his father's sake, and for him he will accept all manner of hardships willingly. To have such a son, who would not offer prayers to the gods? Who, having one, would not love him because of whom he had become, an envied and most blessed father in the eyes of all men of sound judgment? If then, my young friend, with a view to becoming such a man, as you surely will if you truly master the lessons of philosophy, you should not be able to induce your father to permit you to do as you wish, nor succeed in persuading him, reason thus. Your father forbids you to study philosophy, but the common father of all men and gods, Zeus, bids you and exhorts you to do so. His command and law is that man be just and honest, beneficent, temperate, high-minded, superior to pain, superior to pleasure, free of all envy and all malice. To put it briefly, the law of Zeus bids man be good, but being good is the same as being a philosopher. If you obey your father, you will follow the will of a man. If you choose the philosopher's life, the will of God. It is plain, therefore, that your duty lies in the pursuit of philosophy rather than not. But, you say, your father will restrain you, and actually silence you to prevent your study of philosophy. Perhaps he will do so, but he will not prevent you from studying philosophy unless you are willing. For we do not study philosophy with our hands or feet or any other part of the body, but with the soul, and with a very small part of it, that which we call the reason. This God placed in the strongest place, so that it might be inaccessible to sight and touch, free from all compulsion, and in its own power. Particularly, if your mind is good, your Father will not be able to prevent you from using it, nor from thinking what you ought, nor from liking the good and not liking the base, nor, again, from choosing the one and rejecting the other. In the very act of doing this, you would be studying philosophy, and you would not need to wrap yourself up in a worn cloak, nor go without a garment, nor grow long hair, nor deviate from the ordinary practices of the average man. To be sure, such things are well enough for professional philosophers, but philosophy does not consist in them, but rather in thinking out what is man's duty and meditating upon it. On shelter. Since we make houses too for a shelter, I argue that they ought to be made to satisfy bare necessity, to keep out the cold and extreme heat, and to be a protection from the sun and the winds for those who need it. In general, whatever a natural cave would offer, furnishing a moderate shelter for man, this our houses ought to furnish for us, with just enough to spare to make a convenient place for storing away man's food. What good are courtyards surrounded by colonnades? What good are all kinds of colored paints? What good are gold-decked rooms? What good are expensive stones, some fitted together on the floor, others inlaid in the walls, some brought from a great distance and at the greatest expense? Are not all these things superfluous and unnecessary, without which it is possible not only to live, but also to be healthy? Are they not the source of constant trouble, and do they not cost great sums of money from which many people might have benefited by public and private charity? How much more commendable than living a life of luxury is it to help many people? How much nobler than spending money for sticks and stones to spend it on men? How much more profitable than surrounding oneself with a great house to make many friends, the natural result of cheerfully doing good? What would one gain from a large and beautiful house comparable to what he would gain by conferring the benefits of his wealth upon the city and his fellow citizens?
Choose vegan so that you don't have to feel others' pain.
Mindful viewers, thank you for your presence today for Words of Wisdom. Coming up next is Clara Schumann, inspirational musician and woman ahead of her time, right after noteworthy news. May you and your loved ones be forever blessed in God's magnanimous love.
Peace for Ukraine, or you reign.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. Heaven, Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Naše programy nabízejí více jazyků. Prosím navštivte suprememastertv.com/schedule a suprememastertv.com/WOW